We're back with another episode of Chatting with Staxx. And my guest is Anthony Luciano Ramundi.
Me and Josie looked at each other and says, by the fucking skin of our teeth. We were friends with Ed Kotch. Now, the story with Ed Kotch is this. I'll explain this to you. My friend Dominic Rayon, who was the Deputy Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, remember I told you about Hank Velez, Don Barbarino, Mike DiNicola, and Carmine Lasapio. They said, listen, we got a guy, his name is Edward Kotch. He's going to run for mayor. If we get him in, we can do whatever we want in the city. Now, these are legitimate guys telling me this.
What year is this?
That was the year before he got elected. What was it, 77, 76? The year before he got elected, because he was in for 12 years, Kotch.
Because you guys are in unions and everything.
Yeah.
You guys got your hands in everything.
Yeah, so now I turn around. I said, what we can do? It says we run fundraisers for him and we get him in. He goes, but now he goes, speak to your father and your uncles, see if we can get the union guys and everything. I said, all right. He said, but we got to have a place to have the fundraiser. I said, well, why don't we use the club? They said, no, we want to get a legitimate place. There was a friend of mine, Benny Kirkarada. He was a wise guy. He had a catering hall on 16th Avenue in Bensonhurst. It was between either 62nd and 63rd or 63rd and 64th. It was called the Chaise Royale. So I went to see Benny. And I told Benny, I said, Benny, listen, this is what we got, this guy, Ed Kotch. I said, listen, we could do fundraisers here. We can run Las Vegas nights and everything. And naturally, we're going to take an end and we kick into him for his campaign. He goes, let me think about it. I said, but Benny, listen, we could do whatever we want in the city. They told me, I said, Carmelo Shapiro said, we'll have the run of the fucking city. He goes, let me think about it. I seen him, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was about 11:30 that night, I get a call. And he goes, let me see you. I go see him. I said, what's up? He goes, let's do it. That's beautiful. We started running the benefits for him. We did the Chaise Royale. We did the Pizza. We had Macaulay's. I mean, we were doing all the Hollywood Terrace we did. We were doing all the fundraisers there. We were running gambling night.
Raising a whole bunch of money for his campaign.
Raised a ton of money. We took our end out and we gave it to him. But we didn't give it to him. We gave it to Bess Meyerson. She was his bag lady. Now I speak to my father. I speak to my uncles. Now we start getting the unions. And at that time, Ralph Scorpo was close with us. This was way before the war. Ralph Scorpo got Local 6, Local 3. He got them in. Then I went to see Uncle Buster, Gunga Din. He was with us. He got all the electricians in the construction union. My father's got all the longshoreman unions. We got the truck job. We got everybody to vote this guy in. I says, don't worry about it. We're going to make out good. Sure enough, the vote comes. Boom, bing, bang, boom. Ed Kotch becomes the mayor. I said, okay. Now what do we do? We used to meet at Dominic Rayon's house. Dominic lived on Avenue O, and I think it was East 16th Street. It was East 16th Street. He had a house on Avenue O. Used to meet there, and Bess Meyerson would come. I met Ed Kotch twice. Well, he couldn't be I couldn't be seen with me. Bess Meyerson was the bag lady who would come back and forth. He says, what can we do for you? What do you need? I says, we got a construction site. There's a site that's going to go up in the Bronx on 210th Street and Morningside Drive. She goes, all right. Said, a lot of guys have been on it. She goes, well, what's the story? I said, there's going to be 2 high-rise buildings. They call high-rise, like maybe 6, 7, 8 stories. And then smaller buildings, like 35 families in a row, make a courtyard. She goes, all right, you just want the contract. I said, right. She goes, all right, put your bid in. I said, how low do we have to go? She goes, no. She goes, how high do you want to go? I looked at her. I says, fair enough. How high do I want to go? That's all I had to hear. So I said, what's the deal? She goes, Ed gets $1.5 million up front. He gets 3% of the profits. That's okay. Keep the job going as long as you want. I says, okay, it's a deal. Turn around. I go back to Ralphie Scorpo. I said, Ralph, listen, this is what it is. I told my father and everybody. Next day, SNA Concrete got the job. They gave him the contract because Ralph Scorpo was the head of SNA Concrete. We got the job. Kotch got $1.5 million cash. Best Meissen picked it up. Every week he got 3% of the check. Best Meissen picked it up. Job went off. We made a ton of money on the job. We milked that fucking job so far. Forget about what we did with that job. Then we had the contract to do the West Side Highway. There was a contract to do the seawall, the piers, the groundwork, and everything. Guys were putting bids in, phenomenal guys. I mean, guys were putting bids in like left and right. Beth says, Beth, we got this job. She goes, okay. She goes, don't worry about it. She goes, I says, listen. She goes, what do you estimate the job at? So I gave her this. I said, the estimation now for this job. I said, if you're looking at the seawall, I said, let me call the guys up. I called them up. Everybody gave me the price. Says, you're looking at, I said, there's big fucking money here. She goes, what are you looking at? I says, their price that they're talking is like 75 million or better. She goes, okay. She goes, add another $5 million onto it. I look at it like this.
$80 million.
Fucking contract came through 2 days later.
Wow.
Ed Kotch got $5 million. No percentage, $5 million cash. Now, any extra that we had to do came to us, he said. He didn't want it. He got his $5 million. We were doing business with him for years up until he got out. For years, we did every contract there was in the city, every construction job that was there, that was ours that we did. We put the bid in. We used all different companies. As long as we told her, listen, this is the company that's going to put the bid in there with you. Yeah, okay, fine. Boom, we got the job. We were on a rough estimate. Not much. 50% higher than anybody else. And we got the jobs.
And they still gave it to you.
Ed Kotch, when he died, let me tell you something. He had to be worth a couple $100 million. And I'm telling you serious. We had another job. They were building high-rises in Manhattan. There was 5 high-rises that were going around, in different areas, exclusive high-rises, which are still around now. Turn around. It says, you want the job? Yeah, we want the job. Okay. So Bess Meissen says, listen, instead of what they were doing, they were bidding for the jobs like one building at a time. She goes, give me for the whole thing, the whole 5 buildings, what you're looking for. We gave her a bid, and I'm not kidding, and I'm telling you seriously, it was a bid of $300 million. Passed like that.
They accepted it.
Like that.
Yeah.
Gave Kotch, he got another $5 million on that job. And then he took 1% of the job because the buildings didn't come to that much, but everybody was eating on that job. We did so many jobs with him, had so many things done with this guy. It was unfucking believable with Kotch.
Did he have his hand? He had his hand in the police department too, right?
Huh. That guy was the chief of the detectives and everything coming over to me. He asked me if I'm Eddie's friend.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. You can do anything you want here.
Yeah. So when he was asking you, are you Eddie's friend? You didn't know he was talking about that Eddie.
I didn't click in my head that he was talking about Ed Kotch.
Yeah.
Then after the third time, I says, wait a minute. He's got to be talking about Ed Kotch. So I says, let me try. Yeah. Okay, do whatever you want.
Wow.
You couldn't get over with that with this guy. This guy was just like unbelievable. The stuff that we. So I got this in book 1. All this is in book 1. What I'm talking to you about. All this is in book 1.
Yeah.
So much stuff that we did with this guy. It was like unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
Did he end up just doing his term and getting out, or did he
we kept him in for 12 years. Every time it came for him to go vote, we pushed the unions again. Got him in. You're only able to do 3 terms. We kept him in for 12 years, 3 terms.
All right.
Well, we kept him in, and he made a fortune with us. But then also we made a fortune with him at the time too. Everybody was eating, and then a lot of the other families, they saw that the Colombos were doing very good. I mean, we were at one time in that 12 years, the Colombo family was the biggest earning family in the commission. Yeah. Now all the other families wanted to get into it. Well, fine, we'll bring you in. You got to come up with an envelope. Half of them said no. Well, then you don't get nothing. There was a big beef over that. And there was a sit down and they said, this is their connection. You want this? They said you got to come up with an envelope. You got to come up with an envelope. Otherwise, you ain't doing it. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to keep all the money and they don't give nothing to the guy who's giving them everything. And then they got to make a percentage. After a while, then all the other families turned around and they started coming up with the envelope and they got involved in it. But they had to come to us. I would not let any, there was, oh, we want to meet her. No, you ain't meeting nobody. Because I do that, you guys will fuck it all up.
Yeah.
You guys will fuck, and I don't need that. We got a good thing going over here.
Yeah.
Not gonna screw this thing up. No fucking
So now,
way.
when Sonny Francis was locked up and in jail, right? And his son was around. Were you around when his son was around?
Yeah, but he stood with a different crew altogether. He didn't hang out with us.
So Michael had a different crew, but because he's on the internet saying that he's worth all this money and he did all this, getting all this money in the gas business. And do you think any of that is true?
All right, listen to me. If you look at one video that Michael did, he says he was making $2 million a week, and he was giving the boss 25% of the $2 million. He said, which came to $400,000. Well, unless you really failed math in school, Michael, 25% of 2 million is 500,000, not 400. That's number one. Then he's got another video where he's saying he was making 20 million a week. Okay. So 20 million a week, and you're claiming to have given the boss 5 million a week now? All right. Then he's got another video saying he made $20 billion in a period of about less than 20 years, like 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. Because if you listen to him, he says he got into this to being a gangster. He was like in 70 or 71, he was saying. And then he was saying about the time he did in jail. So if you add everything up with the time he did in jail and he got out, I think it was in the 90s or whatever it was, you figure he's been on the street maybe about 15, 16, 17 years, something like that. And he did about 9 years in prison. And then when he came out, he decided to get out. So you'll figure it out. He's bullshit. Well, the numbers don't add up.
Yeah.
The numbers don't add up. Yeah, you know. Does he have money stashed? Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I'm not going to say no. He's done a lot of things. I'm not going to say no. He's definitely done a lot of things. But everything he got, he inherited from his father. Now, Orby Spader, he had a video that I was watching, and Orby said that Michael was jealous of his father. And you want to know something? I believe it.
Yeah.
Sonny was a legend. Sonny was a legend in organized crime. Let's put it that way. And everybody loved him. Even his enemies loved him. Believe me when I tell you this. Sonny was a stand-up guy. Now, Michael's claiming that he had 300 men under his command doing this gas tax thing with him. So there were Italian guys, you had Russian guys, you had Albanian guys, black guys, you had Puerto Rican guys. Now, you're talking, you got 300 men that you're commanding. The boss of the family is not going to sit well with that. You understand? Because anyway, this guy's got 300 fucking men that are under his command. They do what he says. This guy could turn around and come after us and want to take over our family too. He's got 300 men. Like I said before, they would have called him in. They would have spoke to him. If they didn't like what he said, they would have whacked him.
Yeah.
So he's full of shit that he commanded 300 men. That's number one. Now, the newspaper has him as the yuppie Don. First of all, he wasn't a Don. No fucking way. He was a captain, not a Don. Don is the head of the family. So the newspapers better get their fucking story straight because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. He was no Don. Then he's got another video where he says, you have to fly under the radar if you're going to be a gangster and you're going to be a wise guy. Don't draw attention to yourself. Well, how come you're always on TV with your court cases, with your fancy car, you got a boat, and you're getting a helicopter to take you back and forth? So you're over here, you understand, showing off, and you're telling everybody to fly under the radar. Don't make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Then he's saying, that Tom DeBella is the one who made him, which it's possible Tom DeBella made him because he got made before me, Mike. But he's saying, oh, I was driving Tom DeBella around and I waited in the car. Well, first of all, if you were made and you were driving Tom DeBella around, you don't wait in the car. You go inside with him. If you're not made, you wait in the car. All right, so that's crock of fucking shit. Now, Tom DeBella was very close with my father and everybody in my family, my uncles. I seen Tom DeBella not much. I'd say 5 times a week. I seen him. I didn't see Michael with him. Okay, Tom DeBella come down to Third Avenue and Carroll Street. We had to talk business. I didn't see Michael with him. So Michael saying he was driving him all over here and there, and I was his driver, and he made me. Tom DeBella might have made him, and if Tom DeBella made him, it was because his father asked for him to be made, not because it was done. Because Sonny asked, and they did it for Sonny.
Yeah.
And he's saying about Greg Scarpa that if you listen to him, he's always talking about Greg Scarpa. Yeah, me and Greg Scarpa, we hung out. We were always down by Carroll Street and this and that and whatever. But Greg was a little weird, and Greg, he could have been an informant. Greg, they did call him the Mad Hatter. They did call him the Grim Reaper. And some things. Wait a minute. In 1 minute, you're saying you're with Greg all the time, and you're coming to Carroll Street. In the second thing, you're saying, well, he was an informant. So if he was an informant, why would you hang out with him then? According to what you're saying. And you're saying they call him the Grim Reaper. These names are already on the street. Now, my thing with Greg was this. I would meet him in the club on, it was Base 7th Street between 86th and Benson Avenue. I'd meet him over there. He'd come in. I'd give him a message or whatever. And then that would be it. I would leave. How you been? Okay, good. Sometimes I would go up to 11th Avenue or 13th Avenue. I would see him. Or he would come down to Carroll Street. Anytime he came to Carroll Street, whether it was down on Carroll Street and 3rd Avenue at the Diplomat that we had, or Scappy's Club up on 5th Avenue, the Nesta Club, I never seen Michael with him.
Yeah.
Never seen him with him. Now, I used to go to certain clubs. We used to go to clubs, and I'd see Greg in the club. And, Greg had a bunch of different guys with him. Anytime we talked, it would be in private that we spoke. We spoke about different things. Whatever Greg done with his men was his business. They were his men. I was downtown with my crew, but we always talked. And he spoke with my cousin Mac. He was good friends with my cousin Mac. He was good friends with Allie Boy. He was in the family. He was one of the top guys in the family at the time.
Yeah.
But I never seen Greg. I never seen Michael with him all this time that Michael's saying he was with him all these times. I never seen it. Never seen him with him. I met Michael twice. One time, I was coming out of Monty's restaurant, and he was coming down, and Fat Andy introduced me to him. He says, "Oh," he says, "Pluto." He says, "This is Michael. Michael, this is Pluto's son." He said, "Oh, how you do? Fine. Pleasure to meet you." I left. Another time I met him, I was coming down Carroll Street to get my car, and I guess he was walking up Carroll Street because I had my car parked in Monty's parking lot. Hi, Andy. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Good. How's everything? Good. Fine. Take care. Take care. That was it. That was the whole set of my conversations with him because he was too busy playing the fucking Playboy and everything like that with the money and the jewelry and the planes and the this. He did make all that money with gas, but he inherited all that from his father. He didn't put it together on his own. And I'm telling you, he didn't. Like he said, he was in college. Then he got out of college to help his father. And then the father had a maid and this, and then he got that, and he got everything else. I mean, he had a lot of different things going. I'm not going to say he didn't. But everything he had going, legitimate, illegitimate, came from his father and his father's connections. That his father in the business world and everybody. Not that he went and got it on his own, that he's trying to claim that he did.
Yeah.
Then he's talking about when Joe Colombo got killed. First tape says, well, I was 10 feet from Joe Colombo, and he gave me some flyers, and he told me to go up to 6th Avenue, either he said by the bus depot or the train depot or wherever the hell it was, and give out these flyers. Next thing I know, I hear gunshots, and Joe Colombo's on the floor, whatever. Okay. All right, fine. Next thing he turns around and he says, yeah, I was roughly 50 feet away from Joe. Now follow me. Roughly, I'm 50 feet away from Joe Colombo when he got shot. He gave me some flies. He told me to go somewhere on 6th Avenue. I had to give him out. So now, 1 minute you're 10 feet away from him. The next minute you're 50 feet away from him. So make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
1 minute you knew you were going to 6th Avenue to the depot or the bus depot or the train depot to give out the flyers. And then the next minute, yeah, I had to go somewhere on 6th Avenue and give these flyers out. Well, make up your fucking mind. Which is it? Were you 10 feet away? Were you 50 feet away? Did you know where you were going on 6th Avenue or you didn't know where you were going on 6th Avenue? Make up your fucking mind. Which is it?
And the thing about the shooters too, Sammy the Bull Gravano didn't even have 300 people under his command.
Right.
He didn't even have he on his one of his last videos, he said that he had 100 shooters after the Paul Castellanos hit.
Right.
So like 300 men, it just seems unreal. It's an unreal number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I kept writing, and I if you see, I put out another video this morning. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I put out another one on my, on my Facebook, and I keep telling Vlad TV, why don't you get me to come on and ask me the questions? Because I'll tell you the truth, and I'll shoot down half the stuff that he said. I got so many people wrote back to me. You know what they told me? They said Vlad TV is in bed with Michael Francis. I says, you're right. Because they don't even, Vlad TV doesn't even answer me.
Yeah.
Doesn't even answer me, the guy.
He won't. I don't think Michael Francis would go on a podcast and rebuke anything anybody says.
I did a big interview with Jordan Harbinger last year.
Yeah, I seen that one.
You see? Okay.
Yep.
Jordan told me, he goes, would you sit down with Michael Francis if I could? I says, yeah, why? He goes, I tried to do it with Sammy the Bull, and Michael Francis said he didn't want to sit with him. He wouldn't sit down and debate with him.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'll do it. They go, if he says he'll do it with me, he don't know what he's in for.
Yeah.
He don't really know me, but everything he's talking about, I was there. Then he's talking, here's the best one. He's talking about the Colombo War. When the Colombo War came, my people were on the street. We were on the street and this and that and that and that. And we did this and we did that. I said, you're full of fucking shit, because when the Colombo War came, now wait a minute, he was in prison. The next video that he makes, he's telling you, I was in prison when the Colombo War came. Meanwhile, the other one says, well, we did this and we did that when the war came. So make up your fucking mind. You were in prison. And I said, and I also said too, I also did in the videos, I never seen any of his people on the street. Nobody ever came to us and said, these people are with Michael and they'll keep them with us or whatever. Nobody.
Yeah.
I said, he's a good publicist. He's doing the right. I mean, he's making a lot of money legitimately. He's got that money stashed.
Yeah, he is.
He's living off his father's name. He's living off the name Francis, which is his father's. That's number one. That's what he's living off of. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said we'll get to the bottom of it all.
Just like he said in one video, which I have in my videos, you got to look at Michael Goode. They ask him questions, Vlad, and sometimes, I really can't say. He's laughing. Yeah, I really can't say. Yeah, you know why he really can't say? Because he don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Now, I challenged him on more than one video. He said, they asked him about Jimmy Hoffa. I'm imitating Michael now. Vlad, I got a tape of the guy who killed Jimmy Hoffa. I got the tape. I got the tape of him. And the guy who killed Jimmy Hoffa, he's still around. I know the guy. I know the guy. I got it. So I turn around and I say, I challenge you, Michael, to bring the tape forward. You're full of fucking shit. My father's the one who got pulled in for that. My father didn't know you, and you ain't got no fucking tape. I'm challenging you to bring out that fucking tape. And bring out the guy who you said who killed Jimmy Hoffa, who you're saying he's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
I told Vlad TV the same thing. I don't hear nothing.
Of course.
Nobody answered me.
You won't hear nothing, probably.
Right?
Well, I'll get this out there and see if we get a response from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take credit for something somebody else did, and you're putting your life into it. Like I said, he's talking about the Colombo War like he was there, and then he turns around and tells you, "Oh, well, I was in prison at that time." Then why are you talking like you were there? And the way you said, "Yeah, well, my people did this and my people did that. Me and my people did this. You and your people did fucking ugats because you was in fucking jail." And he says, "Well, Carmine X was side of my on. I had to tell him I'm on his side." No, you didn't have to tell him you're on his side. Either you're on his side or you're not on his side. Make up your fucking mind. You don't have to do nothing if you don't want to do it. And then you're full of shit. The problem with Michael is he probably never thought somebody was going to come out of the woodwork and dispute a lot of things he said.
Yeah.
That's his problem.
Yeah,
Now,
he's trying to shut down anybody that tries to say anything. Yeah.
Now, Vlad asked him about Larry Mazza. The only thing I believe he said, "Oh, I really don't know anything about Larry." I think he said something like that. Larry, I think they asked Larry Mazza, because Larry Mazza was on Vlad TV. I think they asked Larry about Michael, and I'm not sure if I'm not 100% sure. I can't say that. I'm not sure if Larry said he really didn't know him too good, or he just shook his head and said no, something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
So he's full of shit.
Well, we'll get into more stories, and after when we take this break, and we'll be back with more videos. Thank you for coming on my show, man, and we'll be back with another part to it.
Okay.